Hi, it's Shelby with Shallot's Personal Chef Service, and welcome to Chicken Breast 101. So I want to say it was probably in the 1980s or so, and our attention was drawn to more of a low-fat diet. And at that point, there was a big correlation made between heart disease and cholesterol. So therefore, we were all inundated with introducing low-fat products to our diet. And chicken breast became pretty much the poster child for the lean animal protein. The problem was, in order to make that chicken breast taste yummy, you had to keep it on the rib cage with the skin over it. But of course that defeated the whole purpose, because when nobody was looking, you'd sit and nibble at the really nice crispy chicken skin. So we got away from that, and grocery stores, supermarkets, butchers started doing a lot of just the skinless, boneless chicken breast. I remember when I first learned to do some serious cooking, we spent a long time learning how to debone a chicken breast. Nowadays, it's a skill I truthfully just don't use very much anymore, because every grocery store is going to offer you boneless, skinless breast. Some of them are the full cut, some of them are the very thin cut, which we're going to discuss a little bit later on. So the first thing we want to do is talk about what to do so that your chicken breast isn't dry, isn't rubbery, isn't tasteless. So the first thing that's the most important, and this I mean seriously, put this to memory, is temperature. Poultry products need to be cooked to 165 degrees. That's where the bacteria for the salmonella is killed, and that's a really important thing to note. So what I really highly recommend is, if you don't already own one, get yourself a really good thermometer. This one is made by Thermapen. It says it's 77 degrees in here. What's nice is they're instant read. You can put the probe right into the thick part of the chicken breast. It'll automatically pop up. You do want to wash these obviously well, because the probe is going to have raw chicken on it. They actually make, I even have some here to show you, they even make probe wipes if you want. I mean, that's up to you. That helps sterilize the probe. But like I said, it doesn't have to be this brand, but I do recommend an instant read thermometer. The trick to cooking a nice chicken breast is not time, but it's temperature. I know when my kids were little, sometimes they used to complain that the chicken just tasted tough. I've since learned, don't worry about how long it cooks. No, it's just got to cook to the proper temperature. Because unlike, say, a brisket, which you could keep cooking in the oven at a low heat and it just gets soft and buttery, your chicken breast is just going to become a hockey puck. So you do want to make sure you do cook it to the proper temperature and get it off the heat. All right, now that's one way to keep the chicken breast moist. The next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to give a kind of a weird analogy here, you'll bear with me. When you think of a chicken breast, and I have a few sitting here in ice, and of course my hands have been washed, so let me pull one out. Wrong way. Okay, here we go. This is a pretty well trimmed chicken breast. I got off most of those ugly little bits that surround it. But let's be honest, let's look at this chicken breast. Let's analyze it. What is it? It's a hunk of pink flesh, naked, raw, no skin, no bone. So naturally, when you put it in heat, what's going to happen to naked, raw, pink flesh? It's going to get really sunburned. And sunburned means it's going to get rubbery, it's going to change the texture. Not a good thing. So what I'm going to teach you in this tutorial is different methods of a chicken sunscreen that's going to keep the chicken protected when you don't have the skin or the bone. So the first thing we're going to talk about is also how we cut the chicken breast. Lots of different ways that will also add to the texture. The first thing I'm going to do is make a pocket. And let's see, I can go a little deeper. Remember, the knives are going to be sharp. Goes right in easily. And this is an eye ideal method for an oven-baked chicken breast, and inside would be like a lovely bread pudding or stuffing like you'd use on Thanksgiving. But once again, when that goes in an oven, this chicken breast is just going to get tasting dry. So one of the solutions is going to be a brine. Now, let me just tell you that I'm going to be touching a lot of raw chicken during this demo, and I'm not going to be touching anything with those chicken fingers that's going to be kept, so don't worry about that. In this brine, just like you might brine a Thanksgiving turkey, we've got a solution. It's really like a saline. It's a water, a salt. This one happens to have brown sugar, equal parts salt and brown sugar, and that's kosher salt, by the way, a coarser cut salt, and some peppercorns. And you're going to put your breast inside your brine. The longer you brine it, obviously, the longer, the softer it'll be. Don't over brine it though, a couple hours tops. I think it starts getting that spongy artificial taste if you over brine it. Another word is if you're using a kosher chicken breast, don't brine it. Just way too much salt. Your kosher chicken has already been salted as part of the koshering process. So that's going to be number one method. So we will move that one. The second method is, and now I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually butterfly it. Let's open this up as if this chicken breast were two sides of a book. Okay. Now at this point, if you wish, you could flatten it. I have a cooking hammer somewhere, and you can give it a good knock, knock, knock. It'll flatten the breast. I would suggest you put a piece of wax paper over top of it so you don't tear the flesh. Then the next thing you can do is a marinade. And a marinade differs from a brine because a marinade has more of the acid to break it down, either a red wine, or in this case, we have a lemon juice. I have some parsley, some aromatics. There's also some garlic in here, some oil. You can put your chicken breast in the marinade. Once again, couple hours. They say overnight. My opinion, it gets to be a little, once again, a little rubbery. I'm not fond of marinating, over marinating. This is a great way if you're going to do it on a barbecue grill. If you're going to do a pan fry type of chicken breast, that's going to work out beautifully for you, and it will add the moisture into the chicken breast. The next thing we're going to do, similar, and I'm going to grab this BioPaper towel since my hands are dirty, would be a dry brine or dry rub actually. And this one happens to be a coffee-based. Coffee's really big in rubs. It helps tenderize. Usually a lot of them have paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. Just be careful if you're gonna buy a commercial rub. A lot of times they're super duper salty. So just as easy to make your own, okay? That technique also is terrific for a barbecue grill. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of move down the line here. We're gonna stay with this one piece of chicken, and now we're gonna just cut it into smaller pieces. So what we're gonna talk about now is either chunks or strips. I'm gonna do this in chunks purposely, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Just move this over, and if there are some pieces that do have a little bit of fat, trim them out. Usually once they're cooked, that little bit will dissolve and it won't even know it was there. I do like chicken in bite-sized pieces. I find when you get a whole mouthful of chicken, when it's too big, it's just, I don't know, it's just not a pleasant experience. I just don't think it's delicious that way. So I tend to make a lot of chicken dishes where the chicken is cut. My sous chef here wants to help, but she's not invited here where there's raw chicken. So now we have just a plain breast. Two ways we can do this. Let's cut this in half here just to kind of give you an idea. The first one is going to be plain. I'm going to saute this in a skillet with some olive oil. A little bit of butter makes it delicious. Maybe some garlic, some salt, and some pepper. I'm going to stir fry it over a medium-high to high heat. I'm going to do it quickly. Think of that olive oil as the protective cover or my sunscreen on the chicken. And then I'm going to make a dish, which I will show you later, something that's very saucy, or sometimes I will incorporate this into a casserole. Think of the old chicken and rice casserole with the mushrooms and so forth. I never liked when those chicken breasts sat on top of the baked rice. They always tasted dry to me. I would much prefer to have it cut into pieces like this. The other way is then to add, excuse me just a sec, quick rinse. I'll grab this. The other way is just to add a little bit of cornstarch to it. Sprinkle some cornstarch over your loose pieces. Once again, that can be done either strips or chunks, and then you're going to stir fry it. This is what is a more traditional Asian type of stir fry. The cornstarch really gives it a lovely sunscreen and does help moisturize it. Another benefit of that cornstarch is that if you're going to be adding a sauce, say a soy sauce type of thing, or an oyster sauce, or another Asian-based type of sauce, it will help thicken that sauce once the chicken is incorporated back in with the sauce. Okay, and then my final method that we're going to talk about is what you can purchase in the store as the thin cut slices. Now, I wasn't able to get those, so I did them myself. Not a big deal. You just hold your chicken breast and just slice half and then slice half again. So you're just going to slice horizontally to the thinnest pieces you can. If they're not perfectly cut, it's fine. No chicken police coming after you. So I have these, they're relatively thin cut. I can usually get 4 to 5 out of a chicken breast, depending on how big that particular breast is. It seems like the chicken breasts now have gotten kind of ginormous. We're not going to really get into organic versus not organic in this video. We can save that for another time. The organic breasts are not quite as big because of the diet that they've had. Some of the ones that are not organic are just almost too big. So what we're going to do in this case, another quick rinse, is we're going to coat our chicken very lightly. And this is probably one of my favorite go-tos when I'm working for my clients and making a chicken dish. Very, very lightly. You see, I don't even have the whole piece covered. This is not a thick batter. This is just a little bit. I don't want to hear this adds a ton of calories because it truly doesn't. I'm going to put it here. We're going to do here. A few more. Now, from here, if you do want to like gussy it up a little bit, another idea is you can take it from here, put in a little bit of egg, give it like a little bit of an egg bath, and then roll it in some flavored breadcrumbs. That gives you a thicker coating. Another thing you can do from this step, same thing, go here, go into your egg, and then go back into your cornstarch, and that gives you like a chicken francais, that thick, eggier crust. But we're not gonna do that one today. We'll save that for our sophomore level class. So we have this, our lovely little chicken breasts. At this point, I'm gonna give a real good wash. Bear with me just a second. I do wanna get the chicken schmutz off my fingers. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is in our preheated skillet, a little bit of olive oil, If you prefer, or I should say if you're not kosher, a little bit of butter mixed in with that olive oil. If you do butter alone, it's gonna burn, but if you do a little bit of butter in the olive oil, it just gives it a lovely flavor. We're gonna saute these. These cook very, very quickly. They will cook from the side first. You'll see almost like a little white line start to form. Give them a flip. You're talking, depending on how thick they are, maybe 2 minutes or so on each side. But remember, we're not talking time, we're talking 165 degrees. So let me at this point show you some finished products. Down sous chef. The first one I have here is this is a cacciatore that I made. As you see, we've got a little bit of rigatoni. This is made with the chicken cubes. These were not coated. And I have onion, mushroom, red pepper, and I make my cacciatore a little different. I put in turkey sausage. This is a sweet Italian turkey sausage, or you can use hot, whichever you prefer, along with it. I love the flavors. It gives it that nice fennel flavor in with the cacciatore. The sauce is a marinara with a little bit of a red wine. And frankly, I used a jarred sauce. My favorite is Rao's. I also like the Barilla, roasted garlic. Good jarred sauces. There's not much in there that you wouldn't put in on your own. So you know what we're having for dinner tonight. And the next one I have is, we used this method of the small, thin filet. This is a piccata. This was sauteed very quickly with a little bit of roasted shallot. There are capers, sitting on a bed of spinach, as you see. And the sauce is a bit of about equal parts vermouth. That's a dry vermouth or a white wine. Chicken broth. Let that simmer. Let it evaporate a little bit. About a half a lemon juice that I put in there. And at the end, to thicken it up, to emulsify it, I added about 2 tablespoons of butter. Put the chicken back in with that, just to give it the little bit of cornstarch, help to thicken up that sauce. And that's it. Another very easy, hopefully, I think it's attractive looking dish that's also quick to put together. So guys, that's it. Hope we explained on how not to have any more chicken that tastes like a hockey puck. One more thing I do want to add before I say goodbye is please don't cook chicken in the microwave. Microwaves might be great for melting butter and heating up soup, but the protein in a chicken breast really is not made for microwave cooking. So please stick to either an oven or stovetop or your grill or something that's more of a direct heat. So with that, I say goodbye. If you haven't subscribed so far, please go through YouTube, look for Shelby Wassel, and please hit the subscribe button. Be safe.